Are we here? Are we doing it? Am I talking to myself? Harand. Harand, hello. I'm not here by myself. There's at least one other person here. Quiet. June, hello. Oh, Harand sneaking into Twitch as. I need to bring back some of the other rewards, but I keep forgetting to do it. What are you gonna do? Krakow, hello. Oh. Thor, hello. So Thor. I think that's right. Right, wait for more people to roll in, and then we will start because there is more to be done. There's always more to be done. There is plenty to be done. Let's get some of these windows I don't need. It's fine. Don't worry about me. I won't take offense. Betty, hello. Oh, not even intent to pronounce that. Hello. When I do the fixing bug videos, does it need to be in English? It kind of does because it is the only language I speak. So I personally don't have a choice. Right, okay, so plan for today is I want to continue along the journey of post-processing effects. We've got a couple. We've got fog, which is pretty sweet. We've got chromatic aberration, which I did a very small amount of work on post last stream, so that's kind of working now. We'll go through that. Then I want to do vignette and noise, or I guess like film grain. And then oh, sorry, I misunderstood you. No, it doesn't have to. As long as I can reproduce it, like I don't care what language the game is in. It makes very little difference to me. I just need steps to reproduce it. Do I think OpenGL is deprecated for modern rendering since it's basically developed during the 90s? No, I mean it was last updated in what 2017, so like that's not new, but it's certainly not old. I think it's great for what I want to do. This topic comes up over and over again. I do not need Vulkan, right? So Vulkan does not need me, and I do not need it. So where does that leave me? And I've done OpenGL before, and I know it. And I think if you kind of lean into the happy path of OpenGL, you can still get something pretty optimal out of it. So yeah, I think it's a great learning experience for graphics programming as well. Because I think if you start now and think I'm going to write a renderer, and you open up Hello World, Hello Triangle, and Vulkan, you're like, oh, okay, maybe this isn't for me. So I think it has a lower barrier to entry for learning a lot of the core concepts that are still applicable in Vulkan anyway, even if the interface and the API is different. Materials, hello. Yep, we're going to go through it now. Let's go through it now. Good points. Right. Okay, so let's make this run. Let's do running things. DX9 is pretty out of date, right? Like I think if you're going to do anything DirectX, you want to be targeting probably DirectX 11, which I think is roughly analogous to OpenGL 4. And then DirectX 12 is sort of the Microsoft equivalent of Vulkan, I'd say, as in that kind of lower level API. Right, so we got all our things, and we're doing things now. So we got the fog, and Chromatic Aberration now has a strength slider, and you actually get quite, I don't know if you can see, it might be a little bit subtle. You actually get quite a cool effect when you now move, because it now affects radially outwards. So you can basically set the threshold where you want the chromatic aberration to apply, and by weakening the that number probably should be inversed, but it doesn't really matter. The smaller the number, the more chromatic aberration you get, right? So as you bring it out, you get less. So if you want it just like in the corners, you can set it like there, and then you can still set like the offsets, right? So if you wanted like real, I don't know, whatever, horror like that, and then you can bring that all the way in if you wanted. So if you set it quite extreme, you can see more of it here. Yeah, indeed. But it doesn't apply to the center of the screen. So as you see, as you can see, it is more strong, I guess, to the corners. So that's where we're at the moment. I think it would be disingenuous of me to say that I didn't consult the Oracle about this, which I did. And because I was trying to work out how to apply it radially, right? And the Oracle suggested using smooth step on the strength, and the strength plus some small offset, and then the distance here is the distance between the center of the screen and whichever pixel we're currently rendering. So this will give us a value between 0 and 1, 0 if it's less than this, 1 if it's greater than this, and some interpolated value between the two. And then you can use this to basically scale the direction vector, right? So 0, then you'll have a shift of 0, which means you won't have any offset, and 1 means you'll have the full offset. So you can effectively use this to provide a scaling factor for the offset that you want, and it works quite nicely. So can't really complain. So I think we can probably use this for the vignette. Like, it's going to be exactly the same thing, right? We're going to want a radius and some sort of feather, I guess. Like, I think that's what Photoshop would call it, but like the softness. That should probably be customizable, but I'm not that fussed at the moment. But we'll definitely do it for vignette. So we should be able to say like so vignette is basically the rendered final image gets darker in the corners, right? It's like a soft shadow, soft color bleeding in from the edges, and you'll see what that is when hopefully we get to implementing it. But it kind of just helps just darken the corners and focus your eye a bit in the center, and it's just kind of a nice little visual effect. And I kind of want it in there just because, one, I think it's fun. I've never done it before. I think it'd be fun. And two, if we have sliders and stuff, then if we don't like it, we can just disable it. So the first thing to do today is to add that. So we'll have a vignette. Watch as I try and spell that a few times. Function here. So we're going to vignette this pretty hard. Then after that, I want to do film grain. So do you remember we were looking at this chap's blog post, and we had this issue where in the country that I live in, I can no longer see these images, but he actually has all this on GitHub, which is quite nice, with the effect. So we're going to add this. This is way overdone. Like, I don't want it nearly this strong, but it does have a strength, I think, where he has a hard-coded amount. So we'll put that as a slider, and then we can basically add it. And it just helps break up banding and just gives the scene a little bit more dynamic. It makes the scene a little bit more dynamic. I think backlighting is great. I'm not doing it, but I don't. The reason just because I'm not doing it doesn't mean that you shouldn't. I think if we want to do like screen space reflections or something fun like that in the future, we might have to have like light probes and render out, like at the beginning of the scene, cube maps of lights and stuff like that. But I don't really know enough. I've not done a lot of research in it, so maybe in the future. Wouldn't shader specialization work better for configuration variables? I don't really know what you mean, but sure. What do you mean by shaders? You mean like compile a new instance of the shader with that value baked in? Is that what you mean? doing a video on hypervisor cracks is on my to-do list. I just don't know if and when I'll get around to it. So maybe. I'm kind of a little bit DRM'd out at the moment. I want to focus more on fixing interesting bugs in obscure games. That's kind of where my mind is at the moment. Doesn't mean I won't come back to DRM, but it's just DRM videos are a huge amount of work. Basically, pass variables at program creation. What is that, like a specific OpenGL-ism that I'm missing, or are you passing it into the format string? Again, I'm not aware of the mechanism of which you're talking about, I'm afraid. But sure, like maybe. Okay, so let's do. What's the best way of doing this? I guess let's start with struct. Is it Vignette? Is that right? And then we're going to want color, float, strength, I guess, and float softness. I'm going to say feather. I think I'm right with that. And let's do colors. Let's go black to start with, because remember, if we control the color, then we can make it red in the future, say for shot or something like that. So I think, again, having this kind of all configurable gives us a lot of options, a lot of flexibility. Right, okay, I'm going to wire all this nonsense up. So bear with me 1 sec while I just type the things. Wise, I type the things. So we're going to want const expr. This is actually kind of good use for an LLM, because it's shortcutting a lot of typing, but that's not what we're here for today. Options, and then basically wherever we use the steady, wherever we use the shift my mic in the right place. Chromatic aberration. So we're gonna want Vignette option. I feel like this this constructor can be simplified to just use the default constructed ones, but that sounds like a problem for another day. Movie, even though we don't need to, but whatever. Makes it feel like I know what I'm talking about. That's missing a T. Am I right? I'm working on a sort of, most of the videos are reverse engineering, right? I think that's mainly like main channel videos reverse engineering, streaming is forward engineering. So the next video I'm working on at the moment is that. There's some Ghidra, there's some debugging. Oh, so good I named it twice. Vignette options, keep that happy. I'm not going to wire it into the serialization just for the moment. Let's just get this working first. Const expr auto scene Vignette options, this auto self return self dot Vignette options. Right, okay, let's now wire that into the debug renderer, so GUI. So we've got exposure options. So let's do. Oh, so much typing. This I really need to spend some time with this code, like quietly, and try and improve it, because it's so grim. All this I feel like could be reflected out or just made better. Do you know what I mean? Like just made better. It's just a lot of copying around boilerplate, and I absolutely hate it. But for debug code, you know, strength. So let's do Vignette strength, and this is Vignette dot strength equals value. Thank you very much. I'm glad you're here. Do I think the streams are for beginners? It's a really good question. Like I would hope so, but I'm also kind of using it as a vehicle to discuss like how I program, especially in C++, and especially modern C++. So like you're also, if this is your first stream, we're like 30 streams in, so you're joining 30 streams into quite a big project, which is built on the work we did from a previous 12-month-long project. So there's quite a lot, but I do try and keep as much as possible, I do try and keep each stream relatively self-contained. This is effectively a part 2 from the last one, so I do appreciate that. But, I try and have a goal for each stream. We come along and we do it, and then people should ask questions, and if they've missed stuff before or they're new, then I'm more than happy to catch people up. So yeah, do ask questions. I'll do my best to catch up. But like, it's the streams are not tutorials, right? So they're not designed to kind of take you from like maybe specifically nothing to a certain goal. It's more of just a journey that I'm going on, and I hope people come along and find it interesting, and we just kind of have a chat as we go along. Does that answer your question? I feel like I spoke a lot there without maybe giving you exactly what you wanted. Yeah, there's a lot going on, right? There's like modern C++ is complex. OpenGL 4.6, right, and ASDO is complex. Game development is complex. I've sort of taken quite 3 complex topics and decided to try and figure it out live as I go along. So we're all in this together. Strength is going to want to be between 0, but I do encourage people to ask questions, like because questions make great shorts. Let's do this between, I don't know, 0 and like, I suppose 1.0f? Sure. Yes, thank you. Just done that. And then we need to do a color as well. So I'm going to find a color one that I can go and steal. Bog color, as good as any. I just feel in the year 2026 with C++ 26 from Reflection, I should not be doing any of this. So let's do Vignette options, but I need to sit down and have a think. It might be fun to do on a stream. I just feel like it's not so important that it's progress I kind of, maybe we'll want to do together. I don't know. It feels like something I could probably just sit down quietly and think about. All right, let's just see if this builds and blends and runs and does the things. Hello. Well, how else would you spell color? I don't think I recognize any other spelling. Looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. Okay. It's very much the case of like this is my code base, right? Like I feel like I can be reasonably precious around it. Not that I'm super precious about most of the code I write, because most of the code I write is terrible, but I feel like there's some things I can be precious about, and that is my choice of spelling. Thanks, I'm glad you're here. Well, we're writing Vignette a lot today, or Vignette. I suppose it's Vignette French. It's not Italian, so don't pronounce the vowel at the end. Or am I just massively showing my ignorance of of other languages? I think it's Vignette. How do you pronounce? Oh, it's going to give it to me in like the pronunciation language, isn't it? I don't want a YouTube video. I want someone to phonetically tell me. I think it's French, so it's probably vignette. Vignette. Vignette? Vignette. Yeah, okay. Nailed it. Not vignette, which is a type of ice cream. Oh no, that's Vignette. Never mind. Right. So I've got the Vignette strength and feather. Let's. Do you know what? I ran it and I didn't even look at the bloody debugger to see if it was the options were there. Okay, so we've got this, and I've got strength and feather. This should have a label. Where's this green offset come from? Whoa. Have I just copy and pasted this just for the funsies? I haven't I? Okay. Okay, yeah, sorry, was there a question about WSL? I think I saw that somewhere. This is just WSL, right? That is all it is. Like, to cross compile and build, then I have a Docker image set up, which is all part of this project that you can find, which builds you trunk GCC and latest min.gw, and there's a make file which kind of ties it all together. I don't know what RTTI bug you're going to be having, because I don't think any of my code relies on RTTI, but I could be wrong. Trunk GCC trunk. Is that right? Okay, right. Trunk. Trunk. Okay, so now let's. I don't know what I'm doing here. I think I'm going to change this this shader from chromatic aberration to post-processing. I think I need like post-processing A and post-processing B, and then just do as much stuff as in there, where like the end of A is the tone mapping, and then the end of B is the final image, right? Because some of them require you to read and work on effectively the final composited image. Yeah, I'm having an existential crisis here. Vignette. I hate that. Okay, right. So I'm going to want some more uniform. What's a few more uniforms between friends? Uniform vec3 u vignette color u vignette strength u vignette feather. That's not how numbers work. Classic integers. You add one each time, except for 5, when you skip 6 and go straight to 7. Okay, so I think I can start building this out. So I want to do something like float. I guess I want float. It's basically like the vignette amount equals the smooth step of u. Oh, it's a little bit smaller. Just keep you on your toes. U vignette strength, and then U vignette strength plus. I might need to clamp this. I'm undecided. Color. And then I'm going to... Oh, I need to recount this. Seems a bit of a shame to recalculate this, but I might be able to optimize it later. But basically the same thing, right? So this is doing the same thing as the chromatic aberration. It's going to create a scale factor of based on how far the current fragment is away from the center, based on some kind of initial strength and then some feathering amount. Yeah, I could pass that in then. Let's get it work. Let's make it better. And then I'm going to want to mix this. So like return mix u vignette color with, I think it's going to want something like a vec3 in color. I'll just call it color vignette amounts, right? So let's do vec3 color equals chromatic aberration, and let's do color equals vignette color, and let's do vec4 cf steady color. What could go wrong? What could go wrong? Oh, hang on. I know exactly what's going to go wrong. I need to wire some of those brand new fancy uniforms we've got in. So this is going to be scene dot vignette options dot, I think it was color, and then strength, and then feather. Nope. Oh, put a float in there. Put a float in there. Chromatic aberration. U vignette color is definitely that. Oh, smooth step. Oh, hang on. Don't want color, do I? I want classic. Oh, nailed it. You know what? This is exactly what I wanted. Was just a great big dirty smudge in the middle of the screen. So I've obviously got some numbers the wrong way around, but does everything else kind of work? So can I? Okay, so I can change that, which is good, and then can I can change the strength, and then presumably I can change the feather around. Okay, so if I wanted to just like, if it was really important to the gameplay to just have like a great big pink circle in the middle, there oval, then like absolutely crushed it. What's wrong? Do I need to swap these around? There we go. Well, that feels quite claustrophobic. Right. So now I should be able to change this feathering quite a bit and then move this in and out. And then if I wanted like it to be red, because I don't know, probably like a darker red because we're being shot at or whatever, then it's like it's not bad. Like, you know what I mean? It certainly does what it says on the tin. And in fact, you could wire this up to a coroutine to just like pulse this slightly. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Well, we can easily do that, right? Just lean into the purple vibes. And then, yeah, I mean, I think we're pretty much there, right? That was easy. It's ever this easy. You can make it really feathered. Bring that in. Really, really feather that up. Yeah. And then we could bring in the chromatic aberration. We're basically done. Right, I like that. Let's super quick wire that up into the serializer. So description now needs one of these. So vignette options, vignette options, and then when we construct with this, we can do vignette options description dot vignette options. All right, not a semicolon there. That's not how C++ works, obviously. And then description dot vignette options equals self dot vignette options. Okay. So this. What a great question. Have I got any plans for shadows? Yes, but I don't know what they are. Like, as in, like, I've not really fully thought this through yet. So we've got SAO, which I think is kind of enough to get going, and then I'm gonna slap a whole shit ton of post-processing effects on there to make it look great or less shit. I think shadows. I will probably do a very basic form of shadow maps, right? Probably from like a spotlight. So we need to add, I think we'll add a spotlight at some point, then just have like some top down lights, and some of those can cast shadows, and or maybe like a torch or something on the player. So yes, but probably because we don't have particularly large scenes. I don't think I need, is it PCF shadows, or I don't think I need anything too complex. I think I can get away with some quite basic shadow techniques. So that's my current thought process. If anyone has any better ideas because they actually know what they're doing, then I'm all ears. Right. So this won't work because the scene YAML is now technically incorrect. So we need to do, see if I can handcraft this, vignette options, and this will be here, vignette options type, and then this will have a color, which will be a color type, which will have a R of naught, RGRB, and then this will have some sort of, it doesn't actually matter what the initial value is because I'm going to adjust it and then save it back. Let's see if this works. Post-processing is a GPU effect, right? It's got nothing to do with compile time C++. Yeah, we might need to do something around like light. Like at the moment, you're right. Like this light here, right, is coming from in here, but like clearly there's a wall in the way. So there's some stuff I think we do just to maybe add a little bit of realism to it. Yeah, so I have automatic serialization of classes, right? Of my scene. So my scene automatically gets written to a YAML file whenever I click save here. So anything I change will get saved. The problem is that there's no concept of like migrations, right? I don't have a migration system. So whenever I add something new, right, it will fail to load the old YAML file because those new values won't exist. So I have to manually put something in there, and then I can go and tweak them and then save them back, and then it will load for every time after that. So that'd be that. I think I want it like quite feathered and just a little bit in the corner. You know, just that might even be too much. Just a little bit, just to bring in the. I can't see shit now. I have to click somewhere else. Right, just let's look at a bright colored wall. I want to just bring that in just a little bit. I have vignettes on all my thumbnails, by the way, or most of them, and the amount of time I spend with the sliders in Photoshop trying to craft the perfect vignette just for the compression algorithm space, just for YouTube's thumbnail compression algorithm to throw it all away. I think that's right. I think that's might be too subtle now. Oh man, welcome to Vignette Simulator. Yeah, a little bit there, and then maybe just feather a little more. Yeah, something like that. And then we can let's make the chromatic aberration just a little bit stronger as well. It's just on the fringes of that. But yeah, let's just commit and save that before. Yeah, I think that's all right. Like, it's not perfect, but I think it's made the scene already just a little bit more interesting. It's a little bit, that chromatic aberration is just a little bit too strong now, but I think it's fine just to showcase it. So when we're doing the streams, people can kind of see what we've been working on. I don't really have like a lot of book recommendations. Like Effective on C++ is my favorite C++ book by Scott Myers. I really wish he hadn't retired because it only goes up to 14, but it's an incredible book. The templates book's pretty good. If you want more classic CS, then CLRS algorithms and is pretty. It's a pretty big book. Okay, right. So let's commit. Let's stick this in the git hole. I mean, it's basically a one commit, right? There's not really a lot I can kind of tease out of this because none of this is going to work separately. So this is add vignette. Okay. Okay, right. Now let's look at this film grain nonsense. So we've got here. I'm basically just going to largely transcribe what he's got, right? I don't understand why he passes pi in here because I think he hard codes it in the other one, but sure. I don't really care for this formatting, if I'm being honest, but like it is what it is. Indeed, that is the formatting that they have gone for. Right, so the next thing we now need is a strength for this. Oh, it's got to add so many more options. Oh, it's so tedious. I absolutely despise it. Right, still this bullshit again. Film grain. At least it's consistent, I guess. Float. Strength. Strength. Yes, I know it's not used. Give me a chance. Nope. Fine, you were right. I take it all back. Yeah, I know it does. It's a video, as in like, because I'm working towards the next video at the moment, so most of my spare time is taken up with that. After that's done, I normally have like a few. I allow myself a few days before working on the next video, and that's normally a time when it's kind of like I can take an evening, a couple of beers, go over UFPS, and do some refactoring work. Film grain options. Oh no, I don't want to add it. Should I just add it? Oh, let's just add it to everything in one go. Just cannot be bothered. Sorry, this is boring for me, so I don't know what it's like for you guys out there. Right. Right. Okay. I don't need to be rude about it. Film grain options, description dot film grain options. 375. Film grain options. Go away. Templates. Film grain options, and then this will have dot. Another big refactor I need to do at some point is to commit to this handle-based system that we spent ages writing, and refactor some of the like the entity system as well. I think I might mention this last stream. I think that's what I need. So scene YAML, we're gonna have film grain options is a film grain options type. When that is a strength, I'm going to 0.1f. We'll see. 0.01f. I don't think I need the f on the end or the semicolon because this is actually YAML, not C++. Scene. I got a thing I didn't give this a default value, which is naughty because it's inconsistent with everything else. Thanks for the affirmation. Right. Let's do 5, 2, 3. Set that here. So this is going to be film grain options. Dot film grain options. Dot strengths. And then this is going to be film grain strengths, and this is going to be dot film grain options dot strengths equals value. Okay, fine. That's all good. Then we're going to want to go to the chromatic aberration fragment shader. Going to need another uniform, which means this should probably be a UBO or SSBO at this point, but that's a refactor for another day. Film grain strengths. Also going to need. Oh, thank you. Yes. Probably like 0 to 1, I guess. Like either all noise or no noise or some noise. We're also going to need a I guess is it a float? What do you pass the time? What was he taking the time as? Float frame time. Float frame you frame time, right? Which we're gonna have to bodge in because we have no concept of frame timing or delta time or anything. So I'm literally gonna bodge that in. I think it depends how the maths works. I think the maths assumes 0 to 1. Is it okay to use C++ without any of the modern features? Like, again, programming languages are tools. C++ is a tool, right? If your understanding of the knowledge allows you to achieve your goals, then yeah, you don't have to use any of the modern features. The modern features are really there, and it may not seem like it, to make your life easier. They tend to, they normally attempt to fix existing issues in the language, or give you new primitives to work with, or new vocabulary types, or sand off rough edges, or provide better abstractions. So, like, it may make your life easier, but there's an inherent learning curve to all of those, especially with C++. So if the time it takes you to learn those new features does not bring you any benefit, then no. However, I would always encourage you to try and keep up with the latest stuff, because there is some good stuff coming out. Also, metaprogramming is kind of like an old technique anyway. It's a kind of umbrella term. So I wouldn't consider, there are now better ways of doing metaprogramming, but metaprogramming isn't a new idea, and you definitely don't need it. Yeah, I don't know if that helps. C's all right. Like, I just think it's just, for me, I think the language is too simple for the kind of abstractions that I want to build. And obviously, like, I know, like obviously the Linux kernel is written in C, and like the Win32 like NT kernel is written in C. So obviously there's a lot of large scale software written in C, but it's just not. I want different abstractions that are easier to write in C++ when it comes to systems programming. I want RAII, right? Do you know what I mean? I want smart pointers. I want a dynamic array. I want exceptions. Okay, right, so now I've got frame time. Let's do, I guess it's going to be Vec3 film grain, Vec3 color. And then we're going to do, yeah, I think I'm going to, once this works, I'm going to try and remember to come back and calculate this only once and pass these in as parameters. But I think for now, it's fine. So basically, it looks like the way you work is you basically fudge randomness, right, into the shader by taking the sine of time and with some other inputs, and that will give you like a pseudo-random number, and then that pseudo-random number you use to offset the color of the pixel, which will make it change, right, which will give you like a noise effect. I think the idea that there is only room for senior engineers in the world of AI is kind of misguided, but not on your part, on the view of employers who think that, because how do you think you get more senior engineers, right? They don't just, you don't just grow them, right? Well, sorry, no, that's like, you do grow them. They don't just come off like trees. My analogies run a bit short here. The only way to get more senior engineers when people inevitably leave or retire or whatever is to have more junior engineers and grow them and give them the domain knowledge that they need. So I think, yeah, I think basically firing all your junior engineers and replacing them with Claude is short-term gain for very long-term pain. Reflection is complex, right? It is a fundamental, and like no one understands it in the sense that, sorry, that's not quite what I mean. No, we don't really know what the best practices for reflection is yet. It's very new on the scene. Like, people are figuring out what they can do with it. So that is not a great place to learn C++ at the moment, because the syntax is wild. It's very complex. It involves, just to get reflection working, involves like 2 or 3 other modern C++26 features as well. Like, you need template expansion. You need what else do you need? We need all the meta stuff. There's about 5 papers that were written and submitted to kind of make reflection work. So there's a lot of moving parts to it. So have that as an aspirational goal, like work up to that. But I wouldn't say you necessarily need to start with that. Yeah. I was going down the analogy like I don't really know where I was going with there. Like they don't just spring out of the air, right? You have to, it's like yogurt, right? You make yogurt by taking some yogurt you've already got and like sticking it in milk, right? And then it all turns to yogurt. Like I'm pretty sure that's how it works, right? You start with a culture, right? And then you let that culture grow and expand around it. So you start with the senior engineers, and then you give them junior engineers, and then after a while you get more senior engineers. So, yeah, I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean the job market isn't difficult at the moment, and I do appreciate that. But I think it's never too late to learn something new, right? I think that should be what even if you don't use it professionally, like you've still learned a skill and you've still developed your brain and you've still shown that you can kind of learn something and you still got something to talk about in interviews, right? Like, hey, I decided to learn C++ and, here's this project I wrote. Like, that's a great thing to have on the CV because it shows that you're interested in learning new things and it shows you can kind of talk confidently about what you've done, and hopefully you can kind of use that to reflect on your learning journey and the limitations, and sort of show an understanding of like what else you still need to learn. No. Senior engineers are yogurt. Junior engineers are the milk that you put the yogurt that surrounds the yogurt, and then the culture makes more yogurt. I really don't understand how that's not clear. Like I could not have made that analogy any clearer. What am I doing? Float rand equals, I want the fract, which I think is the fractional version of some magic number, great, love it, of direction.x plus direction.y times u frame time times some other random magic number, which this is heavy on the magic numbers, over 180. So why is it 2 radians? Oh, because it's float. Okay, sorry, because it's sine, right? So you're converting that out. That's fine. I feel like I'm missing a. He's got an extra. Why has he got an extra bracket? Times that. I think that's right. Yeah. Sorry, yes, I'm aware of it. Yes, I'm aware. Right, I feel like I've missed times the sine of. Why is he double bracketed that? And do I need to? I'm not sure that makes a difference, but sure. Okay, so now we got that. Then we do rand times equals u from green strength, and then we return color times interesting, plus equals amount. So you're gonna add a small. Oh, you're gonna add to it. I guess that makes sense. And then color is going to be film grain. And then renderer, and then we're gonna add just keep adding more stuff. Scene dot film grain options dot strength. Right, now I need to fudge in some time. I think in his article he says that the time is the number of seconds have passed. So he wants that as seconds. So we can do that. Oh, right. Okay, did I have that? I see what that makes sense. Yes, so I'm taking that value and I'm converting it to radians. C++ is all flavors. Whatever, it's all things to all people. I'm going to look up now if that's actually how you make yogurt, because I use that analogy an awful lot, and I've never actually bothered to fact check myself whether that's true or not. But I'm sure, I'm pretty sure something starts off with a culture and then grows more, right? Yeah, exactly, right. So if you take the yogurt you've already got and put it in milk and get more yogurt, like it's an infinite yogurt glitch, right? Right. Yeah, it's just all bacteria, right? Okay, let's do this. Let's do static. Let's do static const start equals stud chrono. Which one do I want? Steady. Which is the monotonically increasing clock that is not subject to system clock changes? I'm pretty sure it's steady clock, isn't it? And then we're going to do here, we might as well do this below. We'll do const auto elapsed. Is it 2p's or 1p's in elapsed? That's just general engineering chat, right? When I talk about work about junior engineers and stuff, like it just comes up surprisingly often. Elapsed equals stud chrono chrono duration cast stud chrono seconds, and then I want to do stud chrono steady clock now minus start, right? So that will get the elapsed time since this function was first called, and then, but I think the standard duration on Windows is nanoseconds, or it's 100 nanosecond intervals, isn't it? But the granularity is nanoseconds, even if you only get them at 100 nanosecond intervals. So this will just convert that to seconds, which means we should now be able to here do elapsed dot the count elapsed. There you go. Yeah, that's true. Yes, I bet that's what that rando thing is. Yeah, duration cast is just a way of moving between, because chrono types are safe against narrowing. You cannot implicitly convert from a more precise type to a less precise type, because that will remove information, right? So I cannot implicitly go from nanoseconds to seconds without a duration cast, because that is me as the programmer telling the compiler, no, I do want this loss of precision. It won't automatically lose precision for you, which is quite nice. Okay, let's just see what happens. Blah. Blah, 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 blah. this looks awfully like my uniform code. Yeah. Error, call of overload. Oh, interesting. Long unsigned int. Does it not auto? I suppose it wouldn't, would it? So yeah, sorry. This count will give it to me as a size t or something like that. So this wants to be a static cast float. I could actually probably pass it as an integer in, but I think that'd be fine. Ooh, failed. Chromatic aberration does not define the global function. Oh. Oh, because it's fracting Cylons. What am I looking at? And amount is undefined. And amount. Oh yeah, hang on. That should be round. Well done. Good spots. Thank you. Yeah, we'll get there in the end. Is it weird to ask you about the current state of game industry and AI use? You can ask. I don't know if I've got an answer for you. Is that? I feel like it's just giving me like really weird banding. It's quite low, like a lo-fi, but it's not what I want. Mmm. 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 It's not what I wanted. It's not what I wanted. Right. I'm pretty sure he mentioned stuff like this here. It's like, in his article, it's like... Also, like, if I pass it in every... Yeah, I'm obviously going to want milliseconds, right? Because otherwise every second, it's only going to update every second. Yeah, I think I need to pass. Let's try that first. So let's get rid of this bullshit. And then go to renderer and then do... This is quite nice because the duration cast, we can just change this to milliseconds. Ooh. I feel like the noise is now much bigger. Mmm. Mmm. Oh, lovely. Oh, that's not horrible to look at. And I would agree, much worse. I like how it's also getting, like, these bands are getting narrower, and then we're going to start getting, like, interference patterns. All right, okay, let's debug this. Let's have a look. Right, how does one write code? Film grain. Yeah, I know. It looks like VHS grain though. Right, random intensity. Take the fract of one. That was 10,000 times sine, which is not the number of milliseconds anyway, right? Yeah, yeah. So I need times it by 10 times sine times the. He adds the two coordinates together and multiplies them. But hang on. mass, brackets, indices, division, multiplication has precedence over addition. So it's going to multiply the y coordinate. I think there's missing brackets in there. Yeah. Do I want that? You think that's not deliberate? Also, I don't know why he passes. So let's actually go through the article, right? Because that's just an implementation. Blame, yeah, wasting my evening. Float amount, nailed it, got that. Tick in the box. The amount controls how noticeable the film grain is. Crank it up for a snow picture. Sure. We've got frame time. Then he has 2 radians, and then he has that. And then he does random intensity is 10,000 times x plus y times that times 2 radians. Okay. The snippet calculates the random intensity to just the amount. So time since frame 1, frame number 4, so it's frame time. So he has 1 tick per frame, right? It's provided by Panda 3D. The frame time is a timestamp of how many seconds have passed since the first frame. The example code is used to animate the film grain, as ocean will be different each frame. For static film grain, replace ocean with a large number. You may have to try different numbers to avoid seeing any patterns. Both the x and the y coordinates are used to create points or specks of film grain. If only x was used, there would only be vertical lines. Similarly, if only y was used, there would also be horizontal lines. The reason the snippet multiplies one coordinate. The reason the snippet multiplies one coordinate by some number is to break up the diagonal symmetry. Okay. You can, of course, remove the coordinate multiplier with a somewhat decent looking rain effect. To animate the rain effect, multiply the output of sine by that. Play around with the x and y coordinates, try and get the rain to change directions. No, don't care. Sine is used as a hashing function. The fragment's coordinates are hashed to some output of sine. This has the nice property that no matter the input, big or small, the output range is -1 to 1. Sine is also used as pseudo-random number generator or kind of fract. Okay. Take a look at the first sequence of numbers and the second each sequence. So while the output from it doesn't have much of a certain pattern. See, we were seeing something a little bit like this. Here you can see the sine multiplier. If you increase the sine output multiplier, you get less and less of a pattern. This is the reason the snippet multiplies sine by 10,000. Okay. Also, hang on. Whoa, I think I just want to use in UV, don't I? I don't want to normalize this to the center of the screen like I've been doing for everything else, right? So don't I want in UV? So hang on, whoa, let's back it up. So I do want that because I want the thing to be broken up more, and I think I just want that. I know I'm still passing in milliseconds. That might just make it go wild. We'll see what happens. I mean, it's not too bad, that kind of is kind of interesting. So if we just drop that down like a little bit. Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. I don't know if I like it. Now that I've seen it, it might actually be quite annoying, but it's there. I think it might be it might need to be more subtle. Like it might need to be like it was before, just like 0.1, just like really, really subtle, just to break up any like patterns that we have, like banding that we have in the future. It might be going too fast now. Should we try reverting that back 2 seconds then and see? No, it doesn't matter because he's just using it. He just wants a unique value every frame. It doesn't actually have anything to do with the rate it changes, right? because he's sampling he's using the UV quartz. So I don't think it actually makes any difference. But let's just return that to seconds anyway, just see if it makes a difference. Oh yeah, I'll try. I mean, we probably should make this. This is still just like a demo, right? So I just want to build out the rendering tech and get a feel for like the different techniques and stuff like that. I presumed if I was to ever make like an actual game, I would. Oh no, that is demonstrably worse. Do not like that. I can already see the patterns. Yeah, it's got to be milliseconds, right? What is this? What is this bullshit? Yeah, options at some point. Because you're going to want to do toggle like options such a pain, right? Because it's actually so much we'd have to do. Like you've got to do different resolutions and full screen and windowed mode and key bindings and language support and like that's not the fun bit. This is the fun bit. Fun bit is adding little sliders. Whee! That's to be honest, I think the 0.1 is probably about right. Don't talk about text rendering. Got to break out my proxy blanket. Probably. Again, optimization. I'm going to think about optimizing later. I'm kind of happy just to follow some tutorials and get stuff working. Just yeah, could do that. I know this is looking pretty good. This is really coming together now. Like it's starting to feel like it's got a bit of a vibe to it, as the kids would say. And film, great. Okay, right. So the next thing now is we've got to work our way up to bloom, right? Because I think that's right. We need to work our way up to bloom because that's the last post-processing effect I want to do as part of this run of like streams is bloom. But there's nothing we can really no, I want to use the advanced warfare bloom, the one that does the 13 tap down sample and that was the 9 tap up sample. But that's the last processing effect I want to do in this kind of run of streams, right? Then after that, I've got some more fun and interesting stuff to plan, to do. Sorry. But in order to bloom, you need to kind of already have something bright in the scene. Like we have floating point buffers, but we could crank all the lights up. But I think the precursor to that is emissive materials. So this asset pack that I purchased has some of the models have emissive materials. So they have a texture map, which is like the bright points, which are colored. And then we can have we can make it as part of the entity that they have a emissive scale. So we can basically render out the emissive data and then have a multiplier for it, which will scale it up or down, and probably like a global one as well. And then that will allow us to have like bright points on some of the models. And then from that, we'll have something to bloom, right? So bloom is where you just take the bright points and blur them and apply them back over the top. And it looks like the bright lights are bleeding into the kind of surrounding geometry. I don't know how this is going to work now that I think about it with the dynamic exposure, although I guess that's applied after the light path, so that should be fine. Wasn't we going to use downside from Bloom 2? Yes. Wednesday stream should still be on, although actually not this Wednesday. Technically, I have a prior engagement this Wednesday, so that will not be on. But the Discord should be up to date. Let me check that, and they should all. Maybe I meant to cancel one and accidentally cancel them all because I don't really understand how computers work. Okay. So for instance, I'm pretty sure that the generator in the room to the left of our spawn point has an emissive material, and one of the doors, which I've not put in yet, does. So this here, I think, has like some lights around it, which obviously aren't rendered at the moment. So the first thing I'm going to do is just try and render out the emissive materials, because that's going to be a whole bunch of like plumbing, and then from that we need to add some dials so that we can turn them up and down, and then from that we can then bloom, because I don't really want to go to all the effort of adding bloom without knowing there is something in which to bloom, if that makes sense, because how will we know if it's working or not? So let's just check we've got everything committed up right. So there's quite a bit of work to be doing for this. So let's jump into it. We're going to get as much done as we can now. So render entity. Okay, I've already wired this in, so that's good. So render entity should already have the emissive texture bindless handle, which should mean it is available to pass to the. Oh wait a minute, I should be able to see this. All right, let's take a step back and prove this. Right. So if I select this, yeah, okay, fine. These are the three sub meshes that make up the generator. You can see here there's the albedo, there's the compressed normal map, there's the metallic, the AO, which I think has been defaulted, the roughness, and then here, this is the emissive. So it should have a blue light coming out of it. So we need to wire that up first, and although it won't be bright, we should be able to see it first. Now, I am not a rendering expert in any of this, but I believe, as I was doing some research and thinking about this, I think basically I don't want to have an emissive frame buffer. That seems wasteful. My understanding is that emissive is basically light that doesn't go through any other lighting calculations. So I think, I have to be wrong, I think I can just write that straight to the light pass frame buffer, right, where all the lighting calculations go, and then just change the blend mode to render everything on top of that. So I think that will prevent me having to have a whole separate frame buffer. I'll just reuse the one I've already got. So let's give it a go. So we've got emissive texture bias handle there. So if we go to the G buffer fragment shader, so this is currently not passed in, but let's give it a go. So I need to pass this in, which means I'll then have access to it in the shader, which means I can then have another out pass, which will be I'll need another out target, but the out target will be one that I've already pre-allocated. Right, F3, R4, out, emissive. To be honest, if I just call it out emissive, then it's a total disaster. I'll just create a new one and then bind it to this and then pass those in the light buffer. But I think it's worth having a little play around with. So FG emissive, and then R4, R5, R6, R7. G buffer vert. I'm hoping Harand might chime in. Oh, subs. Thank you. Lavender Dev resubscribed for 3 months. Thank you very much. Harand, does anything I say make any sense? Hello. I'm glad you're here. Yeah, can I just write the emissive value straight to the light pass frame buffer and then just change the blending mode so that when I execute the light pass program, it just adds all the values on top of that with the lighting calculations? So this will need changing. So we need to have emissive binary handle. So I need to change the object data for that. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then this becomes out emissive binless handle equals object data gl draw id dot emissive binless handle. Ugh, what is going on? Emissive handling. Ugh. It's pretty big. It's emissive. No, it won't be. It's a separate buffer. It would be ideal not to defer it to its own separate paths. As in, yes, as in its own. Wait a minute. Do you mean its own separate frame buffer? Like, I don't want to write the emissive stuff out to us. I don't want to make my G buffer even fatter with a separate emissive color target. I'd rather just write it to the thing that I know I'm going to be writing all the lighting values to eventually anyway. Whatever, give it a go. I could be wrong. Indeed. Okay, so G buffer the frag. So we've got all this now. So this then just becomes out emissive equals vec4 texture sampler 2D in emissive text handle in UV dot RGB 1.0. I think that's right. That's just wherever that's going somewhere, right? It's going somewhere. Something else that would be beneficial. Okay, fine. Let's give it a go. I'm going to read that as Harand agrees with everything I've said. Where's the object data? So this now needs a emissive texture hand index. So renderer. Where's the glossiness? So this is then it's where I build the object data. I want to get rid of all this as well. This is all, I think this could be massively improved. E dot emissive texture fineless handle. Well, no, I'm using trunk build, so technically the version is GCC 17, but yes, I'm using the latest version of GCC. Right, okay, so we're going to stick that in the emissive hole, and then I need to faff around with all this passes. So I don't want to clear this, right? Because it's already going to have data in it. I need to clear it here. I don't want to bind it. Can I just geo frame buffer? Is there like a geo clear? Here we go. What's this? What's this when it's at home? Geo clear named frame buffer. So what are the so frame buffer would be the thing I want. What's specify the buffer to clear? Is that going to be like GL color? So I can clear the given a frame buffer and a color and a buffer type. So the color I can clear it. GL int specify a particular buffer draw buffer to clear. What is draw buffer? Have I even got that mapped? Can I do GL clear? Right, okay. You know what time it is. So Puffin GL clear named frame buffer FI or FB? I think I want FV. GL clear named frame buffer FB. Yeah. I think there are some goodies to have at the end of the stream if you hang around. Right, so now can I do GL clear named frame buffer FV, and I want to pass in the light buffer RT dot frame buffer dot native handle. Sure, a bit of a mouthful, but we'll get there. Then GL color, wrong spelling, but I won't split hairs. What the hell is what is this draw buffer? Buffer and draw buffer identify the buffer to clear. So why is it there? Oh, is it if it has multiple buffers attached? No, GL draw buffer 0. And then I want the clear values. So that's going to be static const x static const expra what's values and floats. Static const expra auto clear color equals stood array float for you. Not F. I think that will just default initialize them all, right? And then I can do clear color dot data. It's the ice GL draw buffer if you're writing to multiple frame buffers in the same shader. Oh, I am. But hang on, but I don't understand why I need a. This is all DSA, right? Like this doesn't matter. I've just bound this. Sorry, I've just used this named handle. I haven't bound it. So why do I need to know which? I'm obviously misunderstanding the concept here. Why does this care about what program I've bound if I'm just issuing a clear here? Oh, I see. I got you. Okay, fine. In which case I only have one. Right, yes. I only have one attached to the frame buffer, so that's fine. got you, I think. Okay, so that should clear it. And then I need to do... Yes. Sorry, I didn't... I was being stupid. Okay, so that should work. So then the light pass. I think the only thing we need to do here is before we issue the draw call, I think we need to do GL enable GL blend GL blend, is it func? Is it GL1 where you write, where you just preserve what's below it? And then GL disable GL blend. Let's give it a go. I don't know if do I have to worry about the depth buffer when I'm doing that, or is that kind of already taken care of? Oh, actually, nope. No, not finished wiring all of this up yet, have I? So this needs... gbuffer frag now need... Oh, actually, no, is that will work, won't it? I've not added any uniforms, have I? Yeah, that's fine. That's unhappy. Draw buffer is negative or exceeds the maximum number of supported draw buffers. Interesting. That seems like my mistake. I could just bind it and clear it. Like, it's not ideal, but like... Is it expecting... Oh, you're right, it is. Well done. Passing I as draw buffer, yes, well done. Literal 0. Nailed it. At least got the fog. That's certainly not done what I thought it was going to do. Right, let's go back and debug all this step by step. So out emissive binder's handle takes the emissive binder's handle from the object, which we're pretty sure we've already passed through, so that's fine. gbuffer frag has now the in handle for that, and then an out. Oh, I don't think I bind this. I don't remember changing anything around that. Where do you bind all the gubbins for the... How does it know? Ah, here we go. I need to just bump this up. So this can now have another output. Binder's handle, is that right? No, this isn't, something's not right here. How do I repurpose another? So hang on. When we create a render target, we say how many color attachments it's going to have, right? But then I create them here. Yes, this creates them. But I want to reuse an existing one. This might not fit in with my current architecture. I might be better. Right, let's keep it simple. Let's just create a new because I want to compress down all the render targets. I want to redo all the formats for all the render targets as a future optimization part. So for now, let's just create a new one because it is easier. So let's do, where do we create the G buffer one? So G buffer, create render target 5? Doesn't feel right. Why is that? Is that right? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 5. Okay, fine. So let's add another one. Yeah, all these can be compressed down later. Like you can reconstruct position. I think we can package specular into the color one. There's a whole bunch of stuff we can do. So let's just keep that as is. So that's going to write out to that. That's fine. So then the light path fragment shader is now going to need to take in another one. So this will now take in the emissive. And then I think I just want to just do result plus equals texture 2 S is an emissive. Okay, fine. Emissive texture in UV. All right, I think I just want to slap that on there. Is that going to blend them together? I think. Don't I want to? Hang on. I think that's fine. And then back to renderer, we basically now want to undo all the gubbins we just did. So this can go, this can go, this can go. And then bring this back for the light pass. So set that there. Do all this, and then this is going to have set uniforms. The other render texture. Right, I think something like that. Oh, I've still got the blend enabled. You're right. Blend, get rid of this, 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 get rid of this. All right. Light pass program. Failed to link. Fun. Light. What have I changed? I added that and that. Does it need to be inverted? I don't think so. No. It's not like a limit to how many I can have, is there? But I expect that to fail to compile rather than fail to link. That's very strange that it's not linking. It's definitely light pass, isn't it? Oh, wait, what's that? I don't know if that was intended. No, this doesn't like it. Let's just... It's not a runtime error. It's not like it's the universal there. I just can't remember why it won't... Ooh, how weird. Why is it not like this? Unless, like, does this need to be .rgb? Yeah, okay. Is that blue? Was that there before? It does look different, doesn't it? I think maybe that as well. Yeah, okay. That's... I need to add an emissive, like, multiplier as well. I don't know. I'm not convinced. Are they now just brighter? What I need to do is the easiest way for us to see this is to properly wire in an emissive scalar into the material. So let's do render entity, and let's do is this going to be part of the whole? This is going to be part of the entity itself. I think, yeah, I don't want to change it per like submesh. I just want the whole thing to have the concept of a float emissive scalar power factor amount strength. Shouldn't I multiply? No, because you clear the scalar, sorry, the emissive texture. So where there is no emissive material, it'll be black, which means you'll be multiplying by 0, 0, 0. So you would then only get the emissive part of the data. I think you want to add them. Unless you mix them based on the alpha channel. I think we might want like once this was working, we might want like a global emissive strength, which is combined with the per entity one, because it'd be kind of cool if something happened and all the bright lights like flickered at once, and we could do that by just having a global, just turning the global emissive scale to like 0 and then 1. That would be cool. And then this, I guess, is going to have to be in the description, which means, oh, that means all our entire scene file is going to crap out. I might add that in a minute. I just want to just see if I can get this working first. So let's assume if you create one here, emissive strength, let's just make that 1.0F. Right, so you should always get that back, which is fine. So then let's go to debug render and go to the inspector. And then entity. So if we go to the entity, let's do here. I basically want to pinch one of these other ones. Where do I have like a float? Oh my goodness, I hate this so much. Inspector, after the entity name, we'll put this here, and then we'll have a value is entity emissive strengths. You missed an R, and yeah, almost certainly. Emissive strength value equals 0.0f to 10.0f, and then. All right, hang on. Going back. Where's I? You're right, I did. And actually, I'm going to want the ability to set that as well, because this is now mutable information about the entity. Set float strengths. That one will be const, and then this will be, and that'll be void, and then we'll do emissive strengths equals emissive strengths. Nope. Strengths. Okay, fine, and that's now all wrong because everything is terrible. Set float strengths dxff void. Okay. Right, okay, so now we're getting somewhere. So now we can go back to the debug renderer, and then when this is right, we can do entity set emissive strengths value. Okay. So now the last thing, buffer pass. So this, now let's go back to gbuffer vertex, sorry, g. Oh, am I able to pass this in through here? I guess it's part of the object data, isn't it? So we have to do float emissive strength. Oh, I think that's still going to be aligned. And then out flat. Nope. Close float out emissive strengths, and then we can do out emissive strengths equals object data gr. I wonder if you should be better just passing the draw ID over into the fragment shader and having it put all this data out. 9761 changes. In where? In the debug renderer. There's not that many files with that many lines of code in. Oh, okay, fine. Just distract me now. Gbuffer frag. So then this will have a location of the shader. Yeah. Did I not change it in the other one? Okay, fine. In flat float in emissive strength. This will become for emissive sample 2D times in emissive strength, and then back to gbuffer but 8. Oh my goodness, so much boilerplate. And then over to renderer. Object data should now technically be unhappy, which it is not. Question mark? Emissive. Oh, have I not added it into this? Ah, interesting. Okay, fine. Over here, so this is now going to have a float emissive strength. Go back here. This should now be unhappy. So we do dot. Hello. I told you if it was float, not flat float. Okay, thank you. Let's just fix that while I'm here. Was that in? Oh yes, thank you. Flat float. Right, renderer. Right, now it's unhappy. So now we can do dot emissive strength equals e dot emissive strength. I feel like there must be a better way of. I'm basically taking every entity. Oh, those render entities. So it now needs to be entity dot. That's fine. Right, let's see what happens. God, it's an awful lot of typing very quickly. Failed to compile shader, G buffer fragment shader error, location 8 component 0 already used. See what? What do you mean location 8's component 0 is already used? Anyone see my mistake? I don't understand. Just give me a line number. Line 12. I'm pretty sure I did save the file. And it's specifically just compiling the fragment shader, so it's got no knowledge of the vertex shader at this point because it's before link time. Have I got a limit? Is there like a weird? Seven 599. That's a new one to me. 7599. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like, I don't... I mean, I could just pass an index, a flat index over, and then index it again on the fragment side. It might be easier than shoving all the data across. It's in the shader. What is in the shader? I don't know. The flats here is fine, right? Oh, you saying all the flats have to be together? I don't think so. What a weird error. Yeah, because I don't want it I don't want the emissive strength to be interpolated across across vertices, right? Because if it's not, I can struggle quite a while before asking out of them. Also, I can struggle more online because live because I think it's more interesting. Personal projects and stuff. Then I probably like I use LLMs as a glorified Google anyway, right? I ask Gemini probably more often than I Google things now, but online. Live. Part of the process is like debugging, right? Does it need to be flat? What's the error again? We've got failed to compile shader, G buffer fragment shader, error. Location 8, component 0, already used. Mistake, resubbing, thank you very much. I'd really like to get emissive materials wired up tonight. I think that'd be a really good place to stop because that means like next stream we can just hit Bloom head on. I really don't understand this. I mean, it doesn't technically need to be flat because it isn't going to be the same for every vertex. Like, there's no varying in it. So maybe we could try it without. It still doesn't like it. Location 8 already used. Yeah. I guess that is true. The flat means it doesn't interpolate it across vertices. So normally when the vertex shader passes data to the fragment shader, you set the vertex shaders run per vertex, right? But the fragment shaders run per fragment per pixel. So it will smoothly interpolate whatever value you give it between two vertices as it's rendering them. This is how you get the classic colored triangle, right? When you do your first OpenGL program and you set a color at each vertex, it automatically interpolates the colors between them, but flat means just use the same value for each vertex. You had a second flat in out. May have to ask the Oracle. My gut feeling is that there is some sort of limit that I'm not aware of. The Oracle just says, you've already put something in this slot, which seems rude and also wrong. There is no, like, location. Oh, Mat 3 takes up more than one slot. Oh, interesting. Interesting. How many slots does it take up? OpenGL. OpenGL, yes. Mat 3. Out. Slot. How many? Float falls being the one true unit. Interesting. Okay, so how many locations does it take up? It takes up 4 slots. Okay, so I need to do 7, 8, 9, 10. Hang on. 7, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this needs to be 11. Wow, hate it. Outmessage should be 10. Can I not count? 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, Mat 3. Yes, you're right. I suppose it shouldn't actually matter, but let's... Okay. Why is that? I've got the wrong scale. Hang on. I thought I fixed that. Yeah, like a layout slot is a conceptual thing, right? It's just an index. It's like here is how you tie up the thing I've written from this one, and here's how you tie it up to the other end. The fact that they have size, like implicit size information, is really frustrating. Okay. Okay, nice. So this definitely has now some sort of emissiveness to it. Which is cool. What else has emissive textures? I don't think a lot of other things do. I think this pack is quite low on the old emissiveness. So let me just switch the fog off for a second. Right. How do I add? I think one of the doors has it, if I remember correctly when I was looking at these. I think like door 1. Door 2? Yeah, this has some sort of emissiveness. Which side is it on? Okay. Not what I was expecting, but sure. Okay, it's definitely got some emissive thing here. Why is this not? Why is this all over here as well? What's going on? Oh, this might be... I wonder if this is some sort of transparent thing that I don't support. Right, well, we've got something to start playing around with. Yeah. I need to find some more emissive stuff. I think some of the weapon, like the weapon pack I bought, is quite emissive, which is quite cool because it'd be something you see a lot because it'd be on you. Okay, cool. Right, that feels like a commit. I think the only thing I'm missing is the emissive value being written to the YAML file, but I'll sort that out later. So much changed. So much changed. Really should have done this as smaller commits. I don't need that new function anymore, do I? Get rid of that. Okay, let's do... really don't have much of a choice, but to probably just do this as a couple of grim commits. Okay. Add emissive to shaders. Ugh, yeah, wire. Sorry. Wire up emissive to renderer. 3, right, 4. So we're on stream 32. Let's do that in the git hole. Right. I'll start off the free goodies. It doesn't pop up on my new notification bar, and I looked at the settings earlier, and it should do. So I don't know what's going on there, but on Twitch, I think you should see it on the YouTube chat anyway. 5 rando premium gifts months get access to videos, and I'm hoping this should. Well, there's a video. I try and aim for a video every month, and I'm working on this month's video. So hopefully, if I have enough time, I will get it in the month that we are in. Before everyone disappears and scatters to the wind for other better things to do with their evening. 1, thank you for spending some time with me. I've very much appreciated it. 2, I think we got some good stuff done today. Like, we added some extra effects. It's all starting to come together now. You know, it feels like it's got a bit of an atmosphere to it, which is nice. Next stream, so I'm not streaming this Wednesday, for I am busy, but I think I'm back the following Sunday. Keep an eye on Discord because that is when the stream schedule is. It's the master list, the golden truth. What was I going to say? Next stream, we shall bloom. That'll be. I think that'll be the first thing we need to do. I'm going to pull up there's an article for it. Twitch schedule is wrong for sure. Okay. So much admin to do. I will try and remember to have a look at those. Yeah, we're going to bloom, and I think once we get that, a nice little soft blur on some of the highlights, I think that'll be it for post-processing. After that, I want to do some profiling. I want to track memory usage. I want to track GPU memory usage. I want to maybe even do some thread profiling. So I think there's a couple of streams of like fun low-level stuff to do there, and then you know, I try to avoid internet drama, only because like I don't know, I just it's already enough going on in my life, but maybe, but I'm sure I'll see it on Reddit at some point. New GPU from VSync is used by. No, all I want to do is I want to track CPU memory usage, GPU memory usage, and is it what's the OpenGL? There's like OpenGL timer or something, isn't there? Query performance GL query something or other. I want to just know roughly how long the GPU is taking per pass. I think I can. Isn't there just an OpenGL function I can call for that? Like, can't I insert like a timing instruction into the pipeline? unless that's what you're talking about. It will take close to vsync timings because GPUs. I think, and then like, almost regardless of how good the data out is, I think it'd be an interesting experience to kind of go through, because I've never done that kind of OpenGL stuff before. We'll build out some tooling. Yeah, that's it. Query counter, time elapsed. I think that's it. I'll do some research. But anyway, I think it'd be fun to do like some stuff I've never done before. We'll figure it out live, build out a profiling tab in GUI so we can kind of see how much memory we've allocated, might set some kind of like upper limit budgets and like some bars so we can kind of see how close we're getting. Yeah, I think this will be fun. Like, this will be fun, right? Be fun. And then after all that's done, I will probably look at all the data and go, cool, I'm not optimizing it now. It's fast enough, and then proceed to ignore it. But at least we would have spent a few streams building it out. Other than that, well, then we can then go on to Jolt. Other than that, thank you all for hanging out with me. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you all anon.